Welcome back to Morning Live, and right now I want to talk about productivity at workplace. You know, as youth, I know so many things happen and we tend to kind of deviate into what the world has to offer, social media, the Instagram pages, and we forget our core business, what sent us to that office. So we want to dwell on that. And in studio, we have two people who've actually been in the business of human resource management for quite some time. Of course, none other than Pauline Kiraithe from Talent Gurus at 254, doing a marvelous job, and Mr. Pamela Swanaina from corporate staffing. They'll be telling us about productivity, because there's so much been happening as far as now 8 to 5 tradition. It's kind of being waved away, but still people now I immersed it big time. Karibu sana, Pauline.
Thank you.
Karibu sana, Bwana Paminas.
Thank you.
Now, starting with you, Pauline, you've been in the game for quite some time. You've dealt with different kinds of people. I understand sometimes productivity can be very difficult in different organizations, 8 to 5, depending on the shift. But now there's a crop of people called the youth. Trust me, social media has taken over. Someone can go to the office, Facebook, tweet the whole day, does nothing. But you see, productivity is the reason why they are there. Why do we find this gap in our current crop of the youth who are actually trying to look for work? You know, you've struggled for 4 years in campus, but now you go to the office, you have the machinery, the resources, free Wi-Fi. Bap. What is happening?
Okay. I think there would be various reasons as to why somebody would find themselves not being productive in the workplace. Huh? So yes, you've gotten the job, but you find yourself being distracted. So I think the first factor I would say is, first of all, are they doing the right job? Yeah. So I think a lot of people also are finding themselves taking jobs for the sake of that's the job that's available. Yeah. So they do not have the passion or the drive for that job that they are doing. Okay. So if you find yourself in such a position, I found a lot of employees get distracted, and those are the ones who become problematic. Yeah, they are not focused on what they are doing. Huh? So I think it's also how people are getting and selecting jobs. Okay. But I know there's also a scarcity of jobs. So a lot of people are finding themselves picking what is available. So there is a mismatch between passion, talent, and your motivation levels, and why you're doing the job that you're doing. Then also the other thing is also how people are being managed. Yes. Yeah? Yes. Also leadership and management in the workplace also determines productivity. So if you have a boss that harasses and only is looking at the output and does not develop an enabling environment for the young people, then you'll find a lot of people disengage with the process. Okay. And that's why you'll find they'll be distracted, they'll do their own things, people will run side hustles because they feel, anyway, my boss doesn't care. Absolutely. So he only cares about the bottom line. So for them, they can even be distracted, but will turn up at the last minute and give you some shoddy output. Absolutely. So that's why for us in the workplace, we have to think about who are the leaders in the workplace. What kind of environment have you set for these young people in the workplace to ensure that they are constantly being productive, they are being innovative, they are bringing in new ideas. So if you have a leadership style that doesn't allow people to bring in new ideas, it's your way as a manager, obviously they're going to say, you know what, anyway, it's your way. It's true. So they stop thinking. They wait for you to think for them. Absolutely. So it's a myriad of many factors. Yeah. So I think even how people got into the roles, the leadership style, the work environment, the culture in the organization. It's affecting the young people.
Wow, interesting. Yeah. So, Paminas, on your side, sometimes even other organizations end up and they lock social media sites. But you see, the youths are very, very tricky to control. You lock, they'll have another option again to actually just do whatever they want to do. Now, Pauline has mentioned the supervisory culture. Sometimes it's all about the output. Sometimes with the output, even lunch breaks are even not even told to go for lunch. So what should be done? Because these are people who are still learning. They have the quest to learn more. They want to browse. They want to see so many things. So what needs to actually be cultivated into these people?
Yeah, thank you, Nick. I think from where I sit, there are two aspects. And the first one is the need for structures. Okay. I mean, there are many instances where someone, a young person is really willing to do good, but they come in, there are no structures, there's no job description, There's no KPI. Someone doesn't know how they're going to be evaluated. And even to some extent, sometimes you find there are no resources to perform.
Sure.
So you hire this person, let's assume they're a salesperson, and you need them to be out in the field selling, but you don't give them fare, or there's no form of transport. So you find most of the times, I mean, they'll just be in the office doing their own things. So, and this falls on the HR practitioners and even business managers. Number one, what structures have you put in place? Because if I come in and my duties are clearly spelled out, I know this is what I'm supposed to do, there's proper orientation, then chances are all these people, they're willing to do good. So for me, that's a starting point. The other one, and Pauline has mentioned, is to ensure that there's employee buy-in. What do I mean? By you achieving employee buy-in, you don't have to be, use a big stick.
Sure.
Every day you wake up, those old era where there's a headmaster at the gate, looking at the time, what time did you come in? I mean, the HR profession has evolved. I was just, when you told me about the topic, I was just reflecting and thinking, HR professionals, we used to be called labor officers sometimes way back.
Is it?
So labor, can you imagine how insensitive that term was? So that term then changed to what we call personnel management. Up to now here, where we call human resource officers, because we understand employees are key stakeholders. So for me, the focus should be, by the time I look at this person and I say this person is not delivering, I'll first look at you, Nick, and ask myself, what can I do to make the situation better? And then when I've done all I could and still you're not delivering, then you could look at separation or anything else. But the starting point is at the organizational level.
Interesting. Back in high school at Form 1, Form 2, I used to know HR practitioners.
Now,
many people still
to
think
fear
that.
HR.
HR and police officers. People think they are one and the same thing.
Yeah, she was my HR at a point, and yeah, it's in an organization where you can see Pauline kwa kona pale unasema so, now, Pauline, back to you. You see, as much as they're vigorous, they want to learn more. It boils down to what you two have said, to the culture in the organization. Now, this means supervisors and what you call the bosses need to be very, very sensitive in dealing with these people. Now, there's also another turning point where now this young person needs motivation. Now, what kind of motivation maybe can a young person get at workplace? Because now that's a very, very multicultural sector whereby people from different backgrounds, years of experience, an intern has just arrived, has been offered a job, doesn't know how to maneuver through, but at his or her disposal, there's internet, there's everything. There's so much for him or her. So how can they maybe now be cultured to now get used to the corporate angle and be very, very streamlined?
So in terms of motivating employees in the workplace, I know for the longest time people thought that money is the key motivator for employees in the workplace. But you'll find actually it's a motivator, but it's not the only motivator. I think one of the key motivators in the workplace is actually where you're being given attention and feedback by your boss.
Feedback, very important actually.
Feedback by your boss, because a lot of people in the workplace, actually most human beings, when you come to the workplace, you're coming to do something. So obviously you want to be productive. So you don't want to come to the workplace and then waste your time. So if you're actually being given feedback that is even helping you to grow as a professional, and you see that your supervisor actually has your best interest at heart, you'll find those employees will actually be more engaged, even coming to work, coming to learn, engaging in the project that they are working in, than with somebody who doesn't care, where you're working with a leader who doesn't care. The only thing they are concerned about is the deliverables. So that's, I think for me, it's the leadership, and especially leadership starting from the top. Because the culture is actually set by the CEO. So once the CEO actually defines that kind of culture, where it's an enabling environment where you're motivating the individual, you'll find, irrespective of what you pay people, Yeah, because I know for the longest time we've had those struggles of increase of pay.
Yes,
You
it's everywhere.
increase,
It's
but
everywhere. Even if you
people
paid
are
a
still
billion,
demotivated.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes, but that's the reason. It's when they feel their contribution is not being valued.
Okay.
It's where they are not being given feedback. Yeah, where they do not see how they are a piece in the bigger cog. Yeah, they see the output, they see the declarations of profit, but they cannot see how did I contribute to that.
True that.
That big profit amount. So it's how do we connect the individual wins to the overall organizational wins.
That's true.
So it's also how we trickle down strategy from the CEO level all the way to the cleaner.
That chain. Actually.
Yes, so that the cleaner knows if I do my work, it's contributed to this.
That's true.
And so that everybody owns, and they are proud of being in that organization. So even if you're doing well, everybody owns the success.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so motivation is quite wide. So I think a lot of us think, yes, if I give you medical, if I give you a good salary, keep giving you the annual increments, I've motivated you. No.
Okay.
The people who are well paid but highly demotivated.
Absolutely.
So the thing is to find out what are the people, what are your employees' key drivers, what brought them. Also just knowing your employee as a person. For me, I'm sure you remember, I used to get to know everybody by name, what motivates them.
True that.
I want to understand, are they happy with their job? What drives them? Once you get to understand that, and you start looking for opportunities within the workplace where you start placing your employees in their areas of passion and drive, motivation just shoots up.
Interesting.
It just shoots up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Parminas, when you talk about output, we are used to the traditional 8 to 5, whereby you have to be in the office at 8, you leave at 5. But you see, of course, like a media house, you operate differently. You have shifts. Like Nick came in at 6, Nick will leave maybe at a certain time. Yes, you have the maximum times of operation. The labor laws in this country says 8 hours. Now, 8 to 5, not bad. But you see, some people look forward for 5 p.m. Some people look forward for Fridays. You know what I mean? Huh?
Yeah.
What is making people looking forward for such days, such times, to go home and rest? Now I've been at work. It's demotivating. As Pauline has said, you can motivate someone despite how much you're paying him or her, but still there's an aspect of, hey, it's a Friday. You know what I mean? Eh?
I know.
There's a work culture that needs to be really, really instilled in so many people. It's a Friday. It's time to go home. It's lunchtime. I know there's eating factor over there, yes, but still there's some sort of, I'm not at work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who can tell us about this?
I think there needs to be a change, and some organizations are gradually moving into that direction, where the focus is more, it's not more of presence,
Output, actually.
but more it's about the productivity aspect, it's about the output.
Yeah.
I remember this last week, I was interviewing someone for a very senior position, and I got to ask them, tell me about your typical work, and they mentioned that they leave office at 8 p.m. And so I asked them, how come you leave office at 8 p.m.? So they mentioned, no, they have this new MD, and his style of doing things is that if he sees you leaving at 5:30 or 6, he thinks there's a problem with you.
Wow.
That you're not hardworking or something like that. So you see, this person reported to work at 7 a.m. They have, it's the traditional model where you can't leave before the CEO. And so it's gotten to a place where this someone, they love their job, they love what they do, but they're really feeling they're pushed to the wall, and that's why they are looking for an opportunity.
Okay.
So I think goes back to the HR professionals and those of us in management is to realize at the end of the day what matters is the output. You know, I was discussing with you, there's no need for the staff to come and they're utilizing my bundles, taking coffee,
Bandwidth and
bandwidth
slowing
and all
down the
that.
whole organization,
Exactly.
downloading
You know,
movies.
yeah.
Even
And
Saturday, working on Saturday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember also, forget even the 8-hour aspect. Your body can only handle so much.
It's true that.
Your body, you've heard of scenarios where the taxis, the app drivers, where someone, because they want you to maximize on their income, they're on that seat for 12 hours. And then what ends up happening? An accident. So in the office, because we wear nice suits, wear nice dresses, we may not see accidents happening per se. But if you do more than the 6-7 hours, you're not productive, I can assure you that. The stress levels go up, your health is impacted. That's reflect on the company if they're paying for you. The medical reflects on the fact that you have to keep taking time off. So the company ends up being the loser.
It's true.
So for me, I mean, at the end of the day, it's about this is the what we agreed as the KPIs. If you're able to deliver that, then you can talk about the flexi working hours.
Now, Pauline, let's focus on solutions. Already we know that's a problem. Now, to this young lot who are vigorous, who are information hungry, there's quest to know so many things. And trust me, it's so hard to control them. Some even come to work drunk, hungover, do you know what I mean? And solutions need to be found as quick as possible, because now, as much as they're the future leaders, you say the future leaders, you know, in this country, future leaders, but you know what I mean. Future leaders, but there's an aspect of, there's a gap in terms of even counseling. Do you think at workplaces we should have such departments? Because now we are used to, oh, you need a counselor, you have a medical card, go, pay for consultation, see this therapist, then you're good to go. Now, in our work institutions, do you think it's so important to now amalgamate these counselors to even be coming and talk to people? Because now people are depressed, as Pamela has mentioned, they're very stressed. What do you think about now the solution-oriented way out of this?
So these young people you're calling young are called the millennials.
Yes, absolutely. Millennials.
They're called the millennials.
He's one of them.
Yes.
No.
Actually, you are.
I'm a young adult, actually.
No, you actually are.
Okay.
It's anyone who was born after 1981.
1981?
Yes, to present.
Okay.
Yeah?
You tick
So
that
you
box.
see, 18 to 30, about 39 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are the millennials. So in the workplace, you've seen actually mental health has become a big issue.
Absolutely.
And it's also due to what he has just said. There's the need, people previously, old managers, old style managers, believe that the longer you stay in the workplace, the more hard working you are. Yeah.
The earlier you come.
The earlier you come. So a lot of people they're spending a lot of time in the workplace. But if you look at productivity and innovations, they're not as much, isn't it? So for us, for me, the few interventions that we have put in place, I've put in place in the past when I was in mainstream HR, because now I'm in consulting, and what I'm helping a lot of our clients to do is, so in terms of the mental health, it's very important to bring in actually an independent psychologist. So actually, like in the last 3 organizations I worked with, we always had an independent psychologist, where in case you are having a family issue or even a personal issue, just call the independent psychologist, go meet them. Even us as HR, we don't even get to know the details of the person, so that your issue is private. So that we found actually worked better than when you have somebody in-house, because they don't want to relate with somebody who they see in the corridors.
That's true.
That intervention really worked. I think there are many families that we managed to save, a lot of people with children who are problematic. You know, even if you have a problematic child, it will affect your performance as a parent. So I remember there were such cases that we were able to solve, and families even used to go for group counseling, but also paid by the company. So you see, the thing is, if you're helping the employee solve their personal issues, they'll be a better person when they come to the workplace.
It's true.
So that was one of the interventions. The other thing is, remember the mini health talks we used to do, the career fairs, because I know the other key contributor of stress in the workplace for employees is money management. So I remember we used to do financial fairs and financial education to employees, so that we help you even manage the basics. So at least if you are able to pay your rent, you're able to come to work every day, at least you've done the basics, then at least it reduces half of your stress.
That's true.
About relationships and managing careers, the structure of HR changed, and now HR are attached to certain businesses. So they are called HR business partners. So for me, what I had done is I had attached HR practitioners to certain businesses, where you get to understand that business, understand the employees, understand their growth, their careers, their strengths, and manage their talent. So with the beauty of having somebody who actually knows them that intimately, is when they are having issues, you can actually have somebody who is giving a quick intervention. If they need a career switch, you can be able to look for it before it gets to the point where somebody is looking for a job. You understand? So you have somebody on the ground who is actually picking the issues immediately as they happen. So like when you see somebody coming to work drunk, that's the last resort. Let me tell you, an employee will not come to work drunk, not unless they're crying out for help.
Yeah.
Yes, they're crying out, or they've been pushed to the end.
Okay.
So when you see that, now that's a quick,
All
serious
right.
intervention
All right.
required.
Because of time, thank you so much, Pauline and Pamela,
Yes.
for coming, CEO Corporate Staffing. And of course, thank you so much for always making time for Switch TV, Morning Live in the morning. And let's hope the youth out there, actually, you've learned one or two, because now, workplace, please, output very important. And the bosses out there also, it's all about motivating your staff to maximize your profits and everything just concerning your organization. My name is Nick Mudimba. Have yourself a beautiful day. Up next is Jason Mondi coming in with Full Circle. Stay blessed.